Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. I did a poll in the last video on what people wanted Penelo to be, and far and away in the lead was White Mage, so I could show you the poll. Well, I can't show you the poll because I'm lazy, but it was 34.8% White Mage, and the next closest was 13% for both Shikari and a Black Mage, so there was a wee bit of a lead there. Even if Shikari and a Black Mage had combined, they still wouldn't have passed White Mage, so quite a way in there. There was also one person who voted for Archer and one person who voted for Foebreaker, so whoever did that, you guys need to make some friends on some polls here, apparently. Anyway, people voted White Mage, we're gonna do White Mage. She will be our dedicated healer for the time being. This of course does not limit other people from being White Mage, nor does Vaughn being Bushi limit other people from being Bushi. The astute among you might notice I did not remove Bushi from the poll for Penelo, so technically if you guys wanted to, you could have all voted for Samurai. For everyone. Everyone is a Samurai. That is our goal. Anyway, Penelo is our White Mage now. She starts off with the thing to cast Cure, but we do not have Cure, so she cannot cast it. Therefore, she's a wee bit useless, isn't she? That's alright, yeah. That's alright, though. We also do not have any rods, nor do we have any need to increase magic lore, because she doesn't have... Actually, no, she does, doesn't she? Does she start with magic? I think she starts with some kind of magic. Let's leave the town, the village here to find out. Not a town at all. There's like 12 people. 12 does not make a town. And according to certain people that you ask, this is a reference to the NLSS, so 10 points. It may not even make a party. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was seeing if she had magic. She does not. I thought she started with some basic black magic, but apparently I'm mistaken and that is someone else. I think Fran starts with some, Hazel fast forward. I think Fran starts with some magic. And then I think Ash does as well. Could be mistaken there. Anyway, our goal is to go to the south. Someone asked about these bird things. They said they've only ever seen these things with Protect already cast. That is... they don't start with Protect, they have to cast Protect. It's not a thing that is default to them. You might notice they also aggro from very far away. Strange bird creatures. But they do have to cast Protect, they don't come pre-equipped with it. I think someone else replied to that comment. Sorry, but I don't have the names off the top of my head. But someone else replied to that comment and said that there are rare versions of these enemies that do come with Protect automatically on them. It's also possible that they simply cast Protect with more... Oh god, I forgot this guy does that. They simply cast Protect with more frequency, so it's much more likely they'll have it before you fight them on the rare enemies. But regardless, by the way, this enemy, Slavin, fighting them early on, like I am doing, is generally a bad idea. Because as you can see, it has an ability called Stomp, and Stomp, unfortunately, I just realized Vaughn was out of range. Stomp, unfortunately, does a lot of damage. Also, there's an alpha hyena over here. Optimally, I don't think it's possible, but optimally we want to aggro a single one of these hyenas, but yeah, they all aggro together. You want to kill the small hyenas. This is how pretty much every fight in this game works. Kill the weaker enemies before you kill the stronger enemies. Unless the stronger, more dangerous enemy does not have the requisite higher health pool that stronger enemies usually do. There are cases for that. Not in this case, though. There are... I think it's much later where that's actually a thing. Also, a snake that appears here. It burrows out of the ground. It's supposed to have aggroed us already, but I do not know why not. It has not done the not. I don't know. I've lost the ability to speak English at some point in my lifetime. Don't worry about it. There are also... from this bunny here, which we will say hello to and hope it heals me. There are also some werewolves They're over there. I knew where they were, I was just having a gander. Please heal me. Thank you. That's it. That's all the magic potency you got. These werewolves are very strong. Get close enough to target it. There we go. They have a red name. I think they're like level 12 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think this bunny is going to heal me. I would recommend, of course, not dealing with the werewolves because that's a great way to get yourself killed for no gain whatsoever. Or burn a lot of potions, and at this level in the game you really don't want to be burning a lot of potions. It won't matter in a couple of hours how many potions we burn, but for now, probably stay away from those guys. There is also, there's a lot of stuff going on, a Slipnir over here. The Slipnir seems to not always respawn, but it is capable of respawning. I don't really understand the mechanics or why it exists. Well, I know why it exists, because the zone to the south of here has a bunch of Slipnirs in it. But, I don't know why it doesn't always respawn. I don't know what the mechanics of that enemy are to cause it to behave in the way it does, but this is Jin, the nomad that we've been searching for, and I use the term searching loosely because he's marked on your map. Anyway, he has a sprained leg. It's not a sprained leg. I sprained my entire leg. He's a sprained ankle, I think. He says he pulled something, but you gotta really mess something up to pull something so badly that you actually just can't move at all. Like, he can't even limp somewhere, he has to just sit here. He can squat too. What kind of system has he got here where he can squat but he can't limp somewhere on a pulled leg? I don't know, man. I think this kid's lying to us. Anyway, he gives us a shade stone and then explains how shade stones work. It's magic, by the way. Now, for reasons I don't understand, I believe this part of the game has some very minor RNG in it. Unless that was changed, or I'm losing my mind. I believe there's some small variance in the amount of energy that you get from each of these dark crystals. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure you'll always end up using 3 dark crystals. So, whether there is RNG or not, and I believe there is, but don't hold me on that. It doesn't matter because you're always going to do the same thing. Anyway, there's one in this zone, one in the northeast, one in the east, and one in the southeast. There's none in, sorry, one in the northwest. There is not a dark stone that you can use in the west, or I don't think there is a northeast area. Is there? No, there's not northeast. It marks them on your map. It's kind of hard to miss them considering the game tells you where everything is all the time. The optimal route is the route that I am not doing. We're going to do this the suboptimal way because I feel like going this route. I gotta mix it up, you know? The optimal thing to do is go west from Jin, pick up that one because it's right next to him, and then go east and pick up these 2. You can also go the way I'm going, or you can pick up the one in the northwest and then the one in the east. That doesn't really matter. The one thing you should do in the process of this is kill a lot of enemies. You can skip these, and the experience they give you generally is not worth the effort to kill them. I'm not going to fight that Slavin though. I don't really want to fight him because potions. The XP is not what we're after when we're fighting things usually. What we're after is the LP. XP is a side effect of playing the game. Like 5 XP is nothing. There's no reason to fight things for 5 XP. I passed the other sunstone and I forgot to do it. Whoops-a-daisy. But almost every enemy in the game will give you a single LP. Regardless of your level or its level, it will always give you a single LP, unless it's a boss or a rare enemy or something like that. It'll always give you 1 LP. By the way, it's right there. I walked right past it because I'm an idiot, but... So, what you do if you're trying specifically to farm LP, which is a thing you will do occasionally, what you'll end up usually doing is fighting very, very weak enemies compared to your level. You won't get any XP for it, but it doesn't matter. You'll get the 1 LP as if it was the same level as you anyway. But it's much easier to fight lower level enemies and get that LP quickly, etc. So you guys get the idea. You guys get it. Most of my level grinding or LP grinding will be done off screen, off recording, whatever you want to call it. But I will show you what I'm doing prior to level grinding. I mean, it's mostly going to boil down to kill these enemies repeatedly until you get enough levels and then move on, but it's probably good for you guys to actually know, like, especially if you haven't played the game before, it's good to know where to grind. Now, I didn't show you the power leveling in the early game, but I'll probably make a separate video for that. It's a thing I don't do because it's stupid. Like, I'm alright with grinding. Don't let any of the grown-ups know, though. By the way, if you were reading the text there, they decided to play chicken with the werewolves that I told you to leave alone because they'll murder you. Children, man. Children. But if you just want to trivialize the game and power level Vaughn up to like level 30 plus in the early game really quickly, if that's what floats your boat, I guess go for it. But I just find that stupid. I don't have a problem with grinding. Like, I do it periodically between certain parts of the storyline. But, like, I don't want to, like, crazy out-level stuff. That just trivializes it, makes it boring. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. Leave a comment below. And this is what I mentioned in the last video. She gives us all that gil and supplies and a sunstone after telling us, I don't know if I want to give you a sunstone. And all we had to do was walk slightly to the south. We didn't even help Jen, we just took a sunstone from him and filled it up and then took it with us, essentially. Sometimes this game doesn't make any sense. It's alright though. I'll try and explain things as they occur story-wise, because it is a game known for people not quite understanding the story because there's a lot of political intrigue and back and forth and stuff like that. That, especially in your first time through, you're probably not quite catching all the little things here and there. So I'll try to remember to point things out that may not be so obvious. But anyway, we got our sunstone. We're gonna take it back to Old Dalan.
Hey, Vaughn. It's been a long time since we did anything together. Too long. I had a really good time. Well, I should probably be getting back to the store. Actually, I was kind of supposed to be watching the place for Miguelo.
She lied to us.
Try to stay out of trouble. For me, I don't know what I'd do if you weren't here, if something happened to you.
I'm not going anywhere, okay?
That's what I wanted to hear. See you later.
Sorry, Penelo.
Penelo leaves the party. Wow, Penelo, what a party pooper. Anyway. I've been talking a lot so far in this video. Hope you guys don't mind my talkative nature. So he'll give the crescent stone its stuff.
Now you'll be wanting to know how to sneak into the palace, eh? First you go to Storehouse 5. You know the one. 2 doors she has. Now the right takes Ban Ratsbane to his territorial hunting grounds in the sewer bottom. But that's not the way you'll go. No, you'll take the left door down into the Garamsite waterway. The waterway leads to a stair. The stair to the palace cellars. That's your way in. But don't go counting your gil just yet, my boy. Getting into the palace was the easy part. The way into the treasury is carefully hidden. That's where this crescent stone comes in. The magics it bears can open the hidden door to the treasury, you see. Listen, Von, for the words I shall speak are most important, and not to be forgotten. Do you understand? The signet yearns for sunstone strength to light the clouded way. Once in the palace, you'll find the signet tile, very important. Give to it the sun's power, and it will light your path. Very well. Oh, a warning. Be aware that if you're caught, you'll spend the rest of your short life rotting in the Nalbina dungeons. So, look sharp, my boy. And don't go running off before you're ready. Plans freshly hatched have a habit of tumbling from the nest straight into the hunter's stew pot.
Voice actor did a great job on his old man laugh. Alright. So he gives you a little hint on what you're supposed to do here. It's not terribly complicated. The game makes it sound out to be much more difficult a task than it actually is. But also, this fellow might look familiar.
Squads 3 through 6 are in place. They stand ready. So far, the Imperials haven't noticed a thing.
Then go now and hurry the others. By nightfall, we must ensure all our men are in place.
Sir. Sir!
At this point in the game, you don't know who that is. By the way, this would be a Zodiac Spear treasure if you were playing the original. By this point in the game, you have no idea who that is, but we will meet her shortly. I'm also going to be doing, or trying to do, a lot of my navigation entirely without the map. So I'm going to try to go entirely off of memory to get places. Of course, I've played this game a lot, so, you know. I sort of know where I'm going most of the time, but sometimes I do forget where I am. Oh man, special tools, gotta go fetch for him. Oh, but never mind, he already has the tools. Dang it, kites. A whole nother place to explore. Wowee. So he gives us some basic supplies. The eye drops will come in handy. Although I have a tendency to completely ignore blind down here, and you will see when it occurs. It's a fair bit into this area when it's actually kind of a trouble. Alright. Now the first thing I want to point out, why does the water flow two different directions? Who designed this waterway? Look at this nonsense. Who? Why? Where? Anyway. Like an owl. Who? Okay. So, and this place is going to be primarily bats and rats. Rats and bats. Dire rats, but not dire bats, thankfully. I'd be in a pickle if that were the case. I was going to say try not to fight 9 things at a time, but I guess it doesn't really matter because they're just bats. Now, by this point in the game, you are still expected to have fought essentially nothing that is not mandatory to fight. You will have been expected to wander around the Giza Plains a little bit, so the XP from there, but, you know, we're only level 4. These rats die in like 2 hits, so. Now, the bats are a little bit stronger. Not much. They also have a self-heal. It's kind of annoying. They don't use it much, and it doesn't heal much. Can you stop doing rat things? Come here. We killed him. We did it. Woo! We're not going to be down in this part of the waterway very long. I do still recommend you kill every enemy you come across, though, just for the sake of XP and license points, mostly. Also, I've noticed something. I don't think it was I don't think it's just something that this game is doing. But sometimes random enemies just take damage. I don't know why. By the way, I can turn gambits on, but it won't do anything. Woo, gambits. But like that bat that we just fought there, you noticed it was missing some health. Nothing hit it. Nothing's over there that can hit it. But sometimes enemies just lose health, and I don't understand. So we'll see it happen occasionally. It might just be certain enemies that do it, and I'm not entirely sure what is causing it. Maybe it's some sort of... It's probably just some sort of bug in the game. I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, we're going to continue our journey into this sort of direction. And steal all the treasure along the way because it usually contains potions, and potions are good. We're going to fight some rats. We're going to get surrounded by rats, apparently. Also, some of you might notice that these rats are giving 14 XP, whereas the things in the... I forgot what they're called. Hyenas? I think they're hyenas. The hyenas in the Giza Plains were only giving 5, and that's because, well, one, they want you to get more XP while you're down here, but the game will split the experience between all your party members that are out, and it will display this split experience. So instead of, say, 10 that you get if you just had Vaughn for those enemies, it will show as 5 if you have 2 people in your party. It's bad. Didn't even see him. Which I think is kind of nice. I like it showing the split XP rather than the full XP, because there's a lot of games that show the full XP, but split it with all the party members, and you have no means of actually knowing that unless you pay attention to the numbers go down. I just like how the game tells you it splits the XP straight up. It's not like you lose anything. What? That rat just run past me, excuse me. My rat friend. There's a bat over here. This bat protects, not projects, treasure. Remember the days when I used to speak English competently? I don't either. So. I think that treasure chest is always a remedy, by the way. You can fight these enemies. They're passive and they're also sort of low level, but you can fight them if you so desire. I can't remember, I think they give you just the basic 1 LP that every other enemy gives. If you fight one, it aggroes all of them, by the way. 21 XP, 1 LP. Not bad XP, but they are much stronger than the rats, and they don't give much more XP than the rats, so... You know, not really worth. Climb the stairs. It's now or never. I just want to point out, they make a really noisy and obvious entry to the area, and none of the guards see them. And you're about to see why none of the guards saw them. Because the guards in this place, apparently the Imperial troops that are hired are just absolutely terrible at their job. A royal map of Rabanastre, not a royal map, a map of the royal palace of Rabanastre, which I guess is a royal map at this point. We could all use a royal map. I'm not going to talk to these people. These are the palace servants. Most of the soldiers are apparently missing. I'm not going to talk to most of these people because they're just like, hey, there's a fete going up. I sure wish I was up there. I agree with this blue one right there. This is my pose right now. This is my state of being. There's usually about like 3 or 4 treasure chests in this area, I think. I don't never quite remember exactly. Well, that's 3 right there, so let's see how accurate I was. That's 4. Oh, I was off because there's 2 back here. There you go. Well, free loot. Now the way you have to progress here is not necessarily immediately obvious. If you talk to this guy, he doesn't say anything. If you talk to everyone else in here, they don't say anything. So what you have to do is walk over here and piss off this guard. And then for no apparent reason whatsoever, this guy right here helps you. I don't know why. He doesn't know us. He has nothing to gain from this, but he helps us out. So he tells us to press square to call the guard. Now, here's your first hint that the guards in this palace are stupid. We're the one that says hello and calls him over. He completely ignores us. What is he doing? Who hired these people? Anyway, now that we're upstairs, we can progress with this, the plan, which is to get to the treasury. Thankfully, again, none of the guards in this palace are worth any of the salary they are currently being paid. Assuming they are being paid, I don't know. The signet yearns for sunstone strength. So this is essentially telling you to find the signet tile and give it the sun's power with the sunstone. Now it tells you what the signet tile looks like, conveniently. And if it's your first time in here, it might probably take you a little bit longer than it's going to take me to complete this. But what you have to do is shout those guards over. Make your way down here. Point and laugh at that guard because he's not doing his job. Actually, before we go that way, let's go down this way. There's a treasure chest down here. Free loot. Anyway, call the guards over, make our way down this pathway. All the way to the last one, I think. No, second to last one. I do this every time. And there's our signet that we desire. I think. Unless I'm on the wrong one. Am I on the wrong one? No, that's the right one. I'm being an idiot. So we use the sunstone. It lights up. None of the guards think anything of the fact that there's a random dude in the hallway lighting floor tiles up. So now what we have to do, may as well call. No, we can't call these over here. Let's go this way. Now what we have to do is clear the pathway to get over there.
Hey, Buckethead!
Which requires these bucket heads to get out of the way. So we walk over here.
Over here!
All these idiots over. They think nothing of the fact that I make a turn around this corner. I'm telling you, man, who hired these guards?
Hello?
If you get too close to them, I believe it simply resets you at the beginning and resets all the guards. Can't quite remember. It's been a long time since I failed this. But anyway, make our way all the way to the end, take the left here, and there's a glowy faint light in the wall. Not much of a hidden path there, is it? Now, where's this treasure? Also, he shouts at the wall and says, hey, watch it, like the wall cares. Alright, so we have no map here because this isn't a mapped area. And I want to point something out. So you get in here, you're like, yo, whoa, you know, what do we do? There's a path here, what is this? And then it says suspicious looking wall. Does this look like a wall? Does it look anything like anything else in the rest of this area? Come on, game. Anyway, it's a suspicious looking wall. You can't do anything with it. There's a switch over here that we press, which makes it click. A mechanical click specifically, which allows us to interact with said suspicious wall. Which is in fact a door. Who could have guessed? Not me. You've outsmarted me, game. Insert grunting.
Huh?
Quite a performance.
Who are you?
I play the leading man. Who else? Fran, the magicite.
Now then, I'll take that.
No, you won't. I found it. It's mine.
And then when I take it from you, it'll be mine. Exit stage right.
The gods do not smile on us.
I like it better that way.
We obtained the goddess's magicite, which is an item I'll never use. Actually, that's not true. It's possible I'll use it occasionally, but... We'll find out shortly why the guards are alarmed, and it's not us. But anyway, this is what the item does. Goddess's magicite requires no license to use. Increase magic resist by a lot, but it permanently reduces your MP to 0. Well, while equipped, it reduces it to 0. Not necessarily permanently, but... I generally don't use it because of that MP to 0 thing, but it is a possibility that you guys will pick someone that simply doesn't use MP ever. I think Samurai may never use MP, so we'll see, I suppose, but... For now, I'm not using it. By the way, there's our lady in the red skirt in the back there.
What's going on?
The Ifrit, eh? That's quite an entrance. Impeccable timing. If I didn't know better, I'd say they were waiting all along. Stop running! End of the line. You have something that belongs to me. Damn! All this way! Fran, let's move! Off with you!
Let go of me!
Keep this up and I will. What's going on, Fran?
I don't know, it's not heating me.
Don't have time for this.
Not slipping!
Not good.
So there's a little tiny detail in that cutscene that's actually somewhat important. I'm not going to fully explain it right now because you'll understand later.
What happened?
The crystal in his hand
didn't just drop.
was glowing.
It disappeared.
Ah, forget it. Even if we could fly, the Ifrit's playing with fire, and I'd rather not get burned.
All right. It's important that that crystal was
We'll go
glowing
the
there.
old-fashioned way.
And it's important that they showed you that, and we'll see why later. A fair bit later, but...
Not many Viera where you come from, thief.
It's Vaughn. Sorry.
Well, Fran is special in that she deigned to partner with a Hume.
Oh? Like a sky pirate that chooses to steal through the sewers.
Pirates? You're sky pirates? So you have an airship?
It's both here. Listen, thief, Vaughn, if you ever want to see your home again, you'll do exactly as I say. Myself, Fran, and you, we're working together now. Understood?
Don't even think you're getting this.
The thought never crossed my mind.
Another important thing to note is that it does indeed drop your MP to 0. You might notice a connection between it and magic. Anyway, we're going to step forward a little bit here, drop down these stairs. And I'm going to skim through all of this text. So none of this text is important to you because I will explain how this works. It's a tutorial on gambits. If you've not played Final Fantasy XII or seen anything about it, gambits are essentially a simple AI system. They work essentially like an if. So if, do something. So if ally any, do potion. In this case, what he just did there is, if there is an ally whose health is below 70%, throw a potion at their face. That's essentially how gambits work. They also have a priority system, so... Oh right, it's telling me to hit buttons. And then it'll tell me to hit a different button. Here, there you go. The one at the top will have priority over the second one will have priority over the third, which is what it's telling you here. Optimally, generally speaking, you will want anything that heals to be at the very top, because that is your priority system. Healing should always be above attacking or buffing, anything like that. Most buffs should have a priority below attacking, because you want to get the fight done quickly. And then, attacks. I can show you the gambits you start with here. Also turn his on, make sure he's got gambits that work. So generally speaking, I like to do lowest HP. So for Vaughn's, not Vans, he will first try to target the party leader's target and attack it if it exists. And then, if there is no party leader target, he will attack the lowest HP and attack it. He'll attack it and attack it. In this case, because Vaughn is the party leader, this can be off and have the same effect, because his target will always be his target. It doesn't matter, what his target is. It'll essentially treat this as off at all times if he is the party leader. So he'll target the lowest HP. His is set up that ally any use first aid. First aid can only be used when an ally is critical, so it will only trigger if an ally is critical. It's the same as doing, we don't have it, I don't think. Oh yeah, we do. Ally status equals HP critical. Is the same thing as this because of how first aid works. And then he'll attack the nearest visible foe. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. We're gonna set them up to all prioritize the enemy with the lowest HP for the time being. And Fran here has no healing set up, she simply has attacks. So she'll target the party leader's target. If none available, she'll attack lowest HP. Essentially, is what's going on there. Fran starts with some basic magic, like I mentioned. She starts with Cure and she starts with Fire. So what I could do is set her up like I have Balthier, essentially, but instead we'll say ally HP less than 70, don't attack, because that's how you kill your party. We'll set her to Cure. So what she'll do here, when I come out of this cutscene, she'll cast Cure on Vaughn because his health is low. Like so. So that's essentially how gambits work. If I, for instance, go to Fran and put her gambit here, she will attack regardless of anyone's HP if there is an enemy nearby. So if you're in combat and you have it set up like this, Fran will never heal until you're out of combat. So it's pretty dangerous to do that. But you can set up sort of an off-healer system like that by having your off-heal people who aren't your primary healers heal outside of battle to help your primary healers MP and stuff like that. But that's a little complicated. We'll get into stuff like that later. Now, before I end this little video here, you might notice we have 2 new party members who do not have a license board job. So we get to pick license board jobs for Balthier and Fren, and by we, I mean you guys. So, just like with Pinello, there will be a link in the description to a thing, and you can click it and then submit, and then I'll get all the votes tallied in a nice fancy way. Google Forms is lovely. Anyway, that's your guys' job. You can leave comments too if you want. That doesn't matter to me. But anyway, thanks for everyone who is voting in these. Thanks for everyone who's leaving likes and comments and sharing and all this stuff. It really means a lot. I do appreciate it, so thanks. And I will see you guys next time, which will be about 24 hours-ish is how long I've been running these polls, so I'll probably keep it relatively consistent. So make sure you vote, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. See you then.